Good afternoon. This is Friday, my last day. I'm going to be up to Hobart tomorrow. Now, I've got answering some of your questions. Right, Claire Thatcher, hello. And you had a question. Yellow is the question, but did I worry that I didn't know quite what I was going to do when I arrived here? No, not at all. Because I've been painting so long and because I've been making so long, and I know something's going to come. I know something's going to happen. I just don't know what. So I'm very much trusting on my own experience of making, but I just haven't got a clue what. Within the game of it, so there is a sense of frustration within the colours, of not knowing and not quite knowing whether it's going to work or not. And you said, was I under pressure to produce work from my experience? Yes, of course I was, and work that's gonna work, and it's gonna be good. Yes, I was, but then I know that stuff happens when I come to places, always does, and I'm trusting on my knowledge of my own experience of my histories of, so it's going to happen, don't worry about it, but you still worry, you still are concerned, and concerned maybe whether you're going to really like it or be surprised by it or whatever. You also ask about the models being derivative of my drawings and paintings, the ones in the museum. Now, so did I see the models before I started making my models, or were they an influence, or rather after I began the work? Well, in fact, I presupposed them, and as I explained in one of the other vlogs, I'd already done drawings. The iron blow, as soon as I saw the iron blow, I started the drawing, the consecutive drawing going down. In fact, you can see the painting behind me, the drawings for, was one of the first things I did. So I'd anticipated in making it within that container, because it's a very particular thing. So it wasn't elsewhere; it was just there. So when I went round a week later, went to look at the open cast quarry in the mine, and we said we were going to go to the office where, and there was a bit of a collection of things. It's not a museum because it's not open to the public. I thought I might see something like some kind of model. I really did. So I was hunting around looking for something. So that's why I wanted to show you on the vlog, because it was good for you to see that, and the aerial photographs I thought were great. What did influence me was me. I mean, I thought the colours that they used, like this pale blue and pink and the colours like that, were terrible, wrong, and very inappropriate, but fascinating. And it pushed me to make that strange pale yellow, that kind of blancmange colour. So that was a reaction to that. So my choice of colour was a bit that sense of not using strata and things like that, but more using it like a pudding, like as if you're cutting a pudding. And the barium yellow that I did feel was right actually turned out to be right, because this area is full of barium, so that was good. So it was rather, so before so I started making work within these museum boxes and museum cases, because I had the history of making it, and because they've been in a number of drawings on the Milton series. So that's where they're coming from in it, rather than being inspired from that model. I hope that helps. Yeah. Drawing makes yeah, the crotty, which the other drawing behind me with the dark, so it's that drawing, which is of the submerged town. I got back from Crotty, so that was on the Monday of my first week. So I arrived So that was at the weekend. So I'd been there a week. So I hadn't been the mine yet. So that was a little picnic we went on. And I got back from Crotty and did that drawing, and within the museum box. So I'd already started it as a way of understanding a particular kind of geological thing. I'm very interested in I've got loads of geological textbooks. The way they the way they cut through landscapes and shows that. I mean, just like looking at those things. Always have done as a child. So it's all there in me, just surfacing. Right. I hope that's answered your question. If not, Claire, I will talk about when I see you. George Rowland, you asked me about the skies and the weather, and the system of lines and marks for movement. On my website, richardkentonwebb.com, you can go to drawings and you'll see a series of drawings. There's a handful of them up about the winds of Provence. And in the winds of Provence, which were done in 2000 and 2002, I do a series of drawings in response to the 32 winds of Provence, plus some other winds, and they all adds up to about 48 winds both times. And they were exhibited in Lindisfarne, the first set. Definitely, that was a very, very liberating time in those 2 years in the wind drawings that I made, and I did another drawing with, which is to do with how can you make equivalents for movement. And movement is what I'm very, very interested in. In fact, all this work is about shapes and movement. And what I found was when I was making these dots and dashes in a fluidity of a dynamic, that they suggested colours. They suggested different movements, different shapes, suggested colour. And so all that work is constantly feeding, if you like, from my memory, subconscious memory that comes into my work. So the skies always influenced my work. Ever since I've been a student, and prior to when I was at school, A-levels, but really a lot of those Claude and Poussin paintings where you've got tiny little figures and these enormous happenings going on. And I lived in an area around Chichester, so I went to Arundel. It's very flat areas, all right, at the edge of the downs. You get these huge skies against little people and that. So sky and interpreting the sky has always been in my work. So I've gone out into the landscape, many, I've done hundreds and hundreds of drawings and paintings about the sky and that ever-changing kind of quality, and weather movement. So I hope that answers that question. Music, someone asked me about music. What music am I listening to? Shostakovich string quartets has been very important. Beethoven string quartets, again, likewise, and Dvorak. But Boards of Canada, my son sent me out some very early stuff. Boards of Canada are fantastic. I've just been really, really listening to them a lot. And the biggest find of all has been the Australian jazz trio, The Neck, and just everything they do, I think, is fantastic. And the other one is Vladislav Delay Quartet. This is a fantastic album, absolutely amazing. And Raymond was playing it whilst I arrived, and I just thought, what on earth is this? And but it's fantastic. And so most days I play that, and Boards, and lots of The Neck, and the Shostakovich, really. Beethoven, the Bach cello suite a lot, Bach piano music. That's about it. I hope that answers that question. Music's very important to me, very. Julie Adams asked me about paper. What am I painting on? So the oil on paper will be sized 4 coats of size. One going this way, one going that way, one going this way, one going that way. and it's 300 grams Somerset satin, 56 by 76 centimeters, and then Arches, Velin Arches Blanc, 47 by 31, and those two are both 300-gram papers. Really nice and strong, quite beautiful to paint on. And the canvas is Belgium linen, 3 coats of lead primed. Lead primer. Really, really fantastic. Okay, any more questions, do email me, and I hope that helps. And bon voyage, and